Welcome back to What's Up Stratford, our special edition. Joining me next is Kathy V with a PhD. Kathy, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
What's been the most fun thing if you were to center on one thing for your campaign?
Oh, the yellow bench. I'm having so much fun. I have my yellow bench that I move around the city, and I park it on friends and acquaintances' front yards. And people either come because they know I'm there, or they walk by, and I sort of do, "Hello, my name's Kathy Vassilakos. I'm running for mayor. Ask me anything." And it has been fantastic. There have been, you know, everybody seems to be really enjoying the conversations that happen, and I really like it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Kathy, I've already disclosed your PhD, so tell us a bit more about yourself personally and that people get to know you a bit better.
I guess let's start. My name's Kathy Vassilakos. I'm born and raised in Ontario. I was raised on a farm in central Ontario, Oro Medonte. I have a PhD in biochemistry that I've used on and off over the years. We moved to Stratford 19, 20 years ago with our family. We thought it was a great place to raise a family, and I was starting to work from home as a consultant. My husband was working 4 days a week, so it seemed like a really good opportunity to make the move. And so I've been on Stratford City Council now for 2 terms, and I always said I would do 2 terms as a counselor, and then you either step down so that somebody else can take that seat and bring some ideas to the table, or you step up. So I decided to step up for the big chair.
So, your PhD and what you do professionally, how does that help you in municipal government and as a mayoral candidate?
I as a scientist, you're trained to actually look at all of the information, and you're trained to take in large amounts of information in a short period of time and synthesize it into a conclusion. And so I do like to do research. I'm always looking at topics from different perspectives. It's a very sort of informed decision making process that you use as a scientist, and it directly translates, I think, to the work that we do on council. So I think that's been a real plus, having a scientist on council.
Perfect. What about in some other community leadership? I know you're on numerous committees. Just tell us a couple of different ones that are some highlights for you.
Highlights for me: I was chair of the Stratford Welcomes Refugees community committee that was brought together in 2015 to settle Syrian refugee families in Stratford. That was a wonderful opportunity to work with different organizations throughout the city and in the community. That's one sort of more of a community level. Another organization that I currently sit on, the Ontario Municipal Water Association, and that is an association that has elected officials plus staff from what we call, W cubed, water, wastewater, stormwater. And that's been an amazing opportunity to work on different issues around, people don't often think about the linear infrastructure under the ground. This past year and a half or so, we noticed, how much work goes into that with the Queen Street storm project. And that is one of the committees that I've really enjoyed being part of, and actually having been a counselor gave me the opportunity to participate in that.
What are you hearing from the community that are just issues, and how would you propose to resolve them?
There are themes that, my yellow bench conversations, and you take what you see on social media, and then you take what you hear in real life, and you take what you hear when people run into you at the grocery store and they give you opinions. But the yellow bench is a really good opportunity to see what people are thinking about. People are thinking about affordability. They're thinking about housing. They're thinking about quality of life and the things that, increase our quality of life. I hear about trees. And and what it occurs to me is that this is all of these things are linked. I hear about climate change and the environment, and I think it's that concept I've been talking about: live, work, play. So as math, if you remember from public school, the Venn diagrams, right? How do you do a Venn diagram? So you have these three circles of live, work, and play. And I'm thinking about the solution to a lot of those challenges, or those things that are important to people, is how do we get more people to, how do we bring live, work, and play together so more people in Stratford can live here, work here, and play here? And how do we make that accessible to everyone? And the example that I use is, if people are getting into their cars and driving an hour to work and an hour home, right? That's not good for the environment. It's not good for our community because those people aren't going to be able to available to help with their children's choir or help with their children's, soccer game, or they're not going to have time to actually maybe help their, aging parents that want to live at home but need a little extra help. So and then maybe they're not shopping locally, and it's a little, I'm being a little over the top when I say, but it's theft from our community, it's theft from our families, it's time taken away. So I think the solution is when council starts to look at all of these challenges and we look at all of the things that we make decisions about, how do we address live, work, and play?
Yeah, well said. In summary, why vote for Kathy?
Uh, I would like to say that in my 8 years on council, I always tell people you may not agree with every decision that I make. And a lot of people, no, you will never find one candidate that voted the same way that you would vote on every issue, but I will be accountable for that decision. I will be informed. I will listen to the people who show up. I will actually ask myself who is not there, who is an important consideration in this. I will do my research and look at looking at best practices from other places, and I will make an informed decision. And when I make that decision, I will be accountable for that decision, in that I will explain to you why and how I made that decision. And I think that shows leadership. I think sometimes the mayor has to be able to explain to the public why a decision was made. And I think also I would like to believe that I would challenge my council colleagues to work together to come up with solutions. And I think that's something that would be a really, we have a lot of change coming on council. There are a lot of empty chairs. And I think it would be really great if we had a council that was challenged to come up with solutions. And I would bring that to the table.
That's awesome. Kathy, thank you very much for joining me, and best wishes for success on October 24th.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next is Martin Ritzma.